whenever Jen is ready, we will.
You're on. Go ahead, Mayor.
All right, we will call the meeting to order. Jen, will you take roll, please?
Commissioner Thel.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Corbin.
Here.
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Mayor Lindsay.
Here. You have before you the agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under appearances and acknowledgements, Julie Gross from the Lake Area Improvement Corporation is here. So I'll ask Julie to step up to the microphone, please. Thank you. And anyone else who wants to join her can just bring a chair.
Bring your own
Yep.
chair.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. This is Paul Schultz, our board president, and I also have DeLon Mork and Jeff Bloom, who are our board members, with us tonight. First, I'm going to give my quarterly update, and then I'll go into the budget. Our quarterly update is we have started building our spec building out in the industrial park. It is going between the one that we sold to Sly Dog and Raven. It's a 16,000 square foot building. Amert Construction is building it. Reineke began dirt work last week, so we're really excited for that. It should be done about the middle of November. You'll be happy to know, Bob, we are not going to put in a floor. That's
Okay.
good, right? I knew you'd like that. We'll wait until we get a tenant to put a floor in. We've been working on some different housing things. GUED has a program where they would assist with demolition of houses. In town, the houses need to be empty, though, so if you know of maybe a dilapidated home that is not in the flood zone that we could participate in this program, let me know. I'm going to be attending a workforce symposium this week in Sioux Falls, put on by the governor. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to make sure nobody's in the house before we.
It can't even be rented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so there.
Well, it can't even be rented, okay? That's what I meant.
Oh, okay, okay.
No one in it, not in the flood zone.
Yes. It has, yeah, which is a problem because there are some that are in the flood zone that we've identified.
Full moon.
But you can't mess with those though. Okay.
Right. So if you know of another one, definitely let me know. Mayor Lindsay's on our board, and we appreciate that. We're going to hopefully sell some lots in the industrial park this year. That's one of our goals every year. Long-term goal would be to put some infrastructure in along the south out there, but we're not that far yet. So that's our quarterly report.
I'm sorry, Julie, what was that last?
Eventually, we hope to put some infrastructure in the south side of the park after we've sold some more lots on the front. Yep, on the front. Okay, now I will go on to my budget request, if you just want to give them that. You guys have all been wonderful supporters of the LAAC. You received a letter from me earlier this month, I guess, that just talked about that we conducted our third capital campaign. We garnered a little over $1 million for 5 years. I've been here and showed you this brochure. If you want another copy, I did bring some along, but we had kind of talked about this when I came here. We talked about property tax growth and population growth. We had more investors in this campaign than in our last one, so we think it was quite a successful campaign. It was also great because it gave our board and volunteers the opportunity to go out and meet with businesses that they may not always be able to meet with. We are requesting the same amount that we've requested since 2007 for our regular budget. This will be the 12th year. We are not asking for an increase in our budget. I did give you kind of just a rough draft of our budget, which has the income and expenses. The city is generally at about 38-39% of our total budget. Kind of fluctuates on how much land is sold in a year, but that's about what it is. We have a great relationship with the city. We know that costs go up every year, whether it's anything from office supplies, insurance on buildings, everything seems to go up. Our board has been very fiscally responsible and tried to be very prudent in our spending and not ask for additional money. There have been a lot of good things happening in Madison. I think in with the opening of the Beacon Building later this month, there's going to be some other exciting news, I think, that will be shared around that same time. And then we have a spec building that's going to be built. I think there's a lot of good things happening. Seems like there's a lot of positive momentum in town. We all know that we could use some more workers, but with that, first comes we have to get the housing, and housing seems to be doing pretty good. The apartments that have been built are rented. I think even the newest set, there's not very many openings in there. So I think that shows that there's people that are moving to our town. Our population seems to be growing. Some of the goals that we have with Forward Madison 3 is working on the workforce, housing, industrial park growth. We're working on some things in ag development. And then we want to work with DSU and their students and entrepreneurs. We want to try to get some of those students to stay here and maybe start their business here. Todd Case from First District, I don't know if he comes to your meetings, right? He deals with 11 counties, and out of those 11 counties, 6 of them have been decreasing in population, 2 are stable, and 3 are increasing, and we are one of the counties that's increasing in population. So those are all good things, and we know we're not directly responsible for that, but we like to think that we might have a little bit of a part in that. I think that as community leaders, we have a lot we have a lot of good we're fortunate to have a lot of things happening in Madison. It seems that there's a lot of new businesses, small businesses popping up. There's been some renovations, some under new ownership, which I think brings new opportunities. We still have our loan fund that we utilize. Our office has a loan fund from USDA, and that's just a reminder, that's money that we can't use in part of our budget. We got the money from USDA. We loan it out to businesses. We can do any, startup businesses to bigger businesses. That's pretty much what I wanted to cover. I don't know if you have anything. We're appreciative for our partnership with you. My door's always open. I come here quarterly, and we appreciate your vote of confidence and your commitment and dedication to Madison. Do you have anything to add, or Jeff or DeLon?
You did a nice job.
Did a nice job. Yep.
Please have any
We just thank you
questions?
for your forward thinking and propose this budget for you to look at. So thank you. And
Questions
for-
or comments?
I guess, was the ESL income on here before? If that just passed?
It was probably on for the last 3 years.
Okay.
I think, was it 2? For sure 2 years. And really that's the money that we take in from ESL, because I got some grant money. We usually spend about that. So I think it was probably a separate, I maybe didn't have it as a separate line item. I don't recall, but I think for 2 years I've had it as a separate line item. The first year I maybe didn't.
What is the revenue stream or source of that?
About $7,500. Is that what you're asking?
What's the company?
Well, we put a little bit of money in, the LAIC does, and we've got it from this group that we belong to, Advantage South Dakota, which is comprised of several economic development offices in this part of the state, and then Northwestern Energy matches some of the money. And so we have a budget, and we were able to apply for money from them for different opportunities, and we chose ours for ESL. And that, $7,500, this is a great subject to bring up, is not very much money, but we've been really lucky to be able to utilize some DSU students as teachers. Some of the teachers volunteered their time. I know of a community that went through their university for their ESL program. They spent over $100,000 for their program, and they had less people in their program overall than we did. So I feel really good about $7,500. That might go up a little bit as teachers change and as we don't have as many volunteers, but it's been really good. And we've offered childcare also, and some of that has been, well, it's all been DSU students, and some of them volunteer and some of them get paid. Because if they're education majors, they need that experience. So it's been a win for us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
I was just glad of what you guys do, and especially you board members taking your time to be on the board, and we as a commission, we don't have time to. And same thing with, I know we're going to listen to the chamber as well. You know, we don't have time to do the marketing and the, you know, of our city, and for us to be able to provide some funds so that you can do what you do. And you're right. I mean, we all have to work together to work on that increase in the population of our area, and yeah, without you, we'd be missing a big part. Without other parts, we'd be missing pieces, and it's really fun to watch it all work together.
Thank you.
Very good. Other questions or comments?
Thanks for coming down. Thanks for the
Thank you.
update.
Thank you.
Thank you. You bet.
And number 2, Eric Hortness is here from the Greater Madison Area Chamber of Commerce.
Tough act to follow.
I know,
Yes.
I know. I knew that was going to happen, though. I have a handout for you as well, and you know, I'll echo some of Julie's comments. Just very appreciative of the cooperation that the city has shown with the chamber and its budget requests. One thing that is going to be different is I'm going to be asking for an increase in the 2018 budget request for the city. On behalf of our board members, and we currently have 319 chamber members, I want to respectfully request $90,000 for the 2018 year. If you look at that budget, that is factored in on page 3 under the advertising promotion activity line item. That represents 22% of our budget, projected budget, and that remaining amount comes from membership dues, event revenue like the Golf Classic, Bowling for Business, the Bull Ride event, those types of things, program sponsorships, and then third-party grants, which generally come from South Dakota Tourism. They have grants that they are allowed to give out from South Dakota Tourism, and we get, every year we get one of those grants, varying in dollar amount. To stay competitive for the tourism dollars, the business spending, and increase the promotion of our community and surrounding area, that's where the increase is coming into play. Some of the examples of our marketing and advertising that we've done, I also have some handouts for that. And you can page through these, ask any questions that you would like. These are just some of the 2017 promotional items that we've done. We've got the new area guide that came out in April. The South Dakota Tourism Find Your Great Place advertisement that South Dakota Tourism sent out to the Chicago area, households in the Chicago area. Pipestone and Brookings entertainment guides. The Southeast South Dakota Sportsman's Guide. The Glacial Lakes and Prairie Visitor's Guide, along with the Southeast South Dakota Travel Guide, Southeast South Dakota Adventure Map, the South Dakota Tourism Vacation Guide, the Black Hills Badlands Visitor Center ad, and the Sioux Falls Shopping News Fishing Outlook ad. Those are just some of the promotional marketing advertising pieces that we've done this year. To go along with that, we also have our new interactive, more user-friendly website. Matthew Wallman is finishing up on a Madison promotional video that the LAIC and the Chamber are going to share. It has a lot of interviews with local Madison residents, so that'll be very nice to get up on our website, start promoting that video. Also included would be the us switching from the Chamber Bucks program to our gift card program. That'll be rolling out here in the next month or two. There were just a lot of loopholes with the Chamber Buck program that not all of the money was staying in Madison. But with the gift card program, that will be guaranteed to stay in Madison. our contracts with KJM and the Madison Daily Leader for advertising, and then also our South Dakota Tourism Conference that we attend every year. One thing that I really want to concentrate on if the budget request is granted is more tourism promotional type activities. And my last handout is a survey that was done on South Dakota tourism, and it's broken down by county. And I have 3 orange tabs to look at for you to look at when it comes to Lake County. Lake County was one of the few counties that in 2016 actually went up in tourism dollars, 1.2%, I think. So not a large increase, but compared to a lot of the other counties that were decreased in tourism dollars, I think Lake County did pretty well in 2016. When you look at Lake County, a lot of it is Madison, Prairie Village, the college, all of our businesses that we have here in town. So with the ask for the increase, I would like to do a lot more tourism type promotional activities that way. Other things that I would like to think that we could do with the increase, continue the increase of our electronic presence, social media, the ability to add a Madison app for not only residents but tourists, visitors to town. Continue the direction that we've started with adequate staffing and resources. My office staff, Danielle and Courtney, they do an excellent job. Courtney does a lot of the promotional materials, and Danielle tells me where I need to be. The return on the investment for the city, I think, would be generated through increased tax revenues. And then just for the ability for the chamber to continue to grow, I think that will just go hand in hand with the continued growth with Madison. So I thank you for the opportunity to come before you, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
How much do you get off? Do you have one set fee for membership dues to the businesses here in town?
It's a wide range of membership dues based on whether you're an individual member or a nonprofit, or if you're a bank, it's based on how many dollars in deposits you have. If you're a hotel, it's based on the number of rooms that you have, plus the number of employees that you have. So the larger your employee base is, the larger your membership dues are probably going to be.
But they're all, if I can ask, they're all lumped together here, Eric, in your line item of membership dues.
Correct.
101. So
Correct.
everything that you've just explained hit that same line.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think part of our problem the past few years, we've had a deficit in that third cent, which is what you're requesting essentially, right? Also
That's
noted,
normally where it's funded from.
Right.
Excuse me.
maybe it's just me, but have you picked up more out-of-town members lately?
We have. There was a deal with, well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Auto Owners Insurance has a deal if they are, if a commercial business has auto owners insurance and they're a member of the Madison Chamber of Commerce, they get a break on their premium.
Nice.
So we have a ranch out in Kimball that's a member. We have some camper sales down in Hartford. We have a trucking company in Marion, all just because they, want that break on their premium. So,
That's all right.
yeah, I'm not gonna turn them away.
Other questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you. And
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you
Yeah.
do to promote Madison through the chamber. So, all right. And then with that, we have your
Materials?
materials over here on my right-hand side, your left-hand side. So, again, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, next, is there anything anyone wants removed from the consent calendar?
None, motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Those opposed, same sign.
Yep.
Motion carries. Under old business, second reading of ordinance number 1591, amend the cable communications franchise with Clarity Telecom LLC. And is there anyone here that would like to speak to that? Okay.
They did ask if they needed to be present. I said that probably wasn't necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
This is just a reading, we don't have
Just
any
the reading.
action.
Okay.
Tonight is your approval, so it's your second reading and the approval.
So we will be looking for a motion on this.
Please.
Okay. So if no questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
I assume everything's in order then,
It is.
correct?
It
Okay.
is.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Oh, it sounded like you wanted to do it. Go
No,
ahead.
well.
No,
I just
motion
wanted
to
make sure.
approve second reading of ordinance number 1591, amend cable communications franchise for Clarity Telecom LLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 2, second reading of ordinance 1592, amend the cable communications franchise with Mid-Continent Communications. Is there anyone here that wants to speak on that? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve second reading ordinance number 1592, amend cable communications franchise for Mid-Continent Communications, now known as Midco.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under new business, authorize the mayor to sign the letter of support for Harvest Point Apartments LLC, renovation of existing units. And I have read through it. Would you like to address that, sir?
Sure.
Mr. Brooks
Yes.
is here.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Brooks with Sandbar Development. I was here last year requesting the same support letter. We were unsuccessful last year. We ran into some steep competition with new construction, Sioux Falls area. So back here again requesting support for funding. Part of the application package is putting that support letter in there. So one thing we are going to do different, we're going to replace the asphalt parking lot with concrete. So that's kind of one thing we're stepping up. But a couple things. You've all had a chance to review the market study, 168 pages long of basically, yeah, there you
Email
go.
to everybody.
Yeah. So it does reiterate what the lady up here was talking about earlier. There is like a 1.2% vacancy rate in Madison. So there is a need and a continued need for housing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to upgrade new vinyl, or new siding, hardboard siding, windows, the roof's in good condition, community rooms, stuff like that. So just kind of take it to the next level. So there's a need there. So I spent a few $1,000s already to kind of tell you what you guys already know. But that's just the way it goes. So anyways, I'd be happy to answer any questions on that, on the market study, on what we propose to do.
No, I read through that, and when I saw the 1.2% vacancy rate,
Yeah.
I thought, yes, it definitely shows
Yeah.
that people want to live in Madison.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we just don't have all the housing and that we need to accommodate everybody that's coming in.
Yep. So,
So,
Yeah, thanks for all the information. Thanks for coming down.
yeah, no, it's a little bit overkill, but it's good information. And that goes to the housing authority as well. So they get that to obviously say there's a need for it, blah, blah, blah. So we have to send that up to those guys as well, so.
very good. Questions or comments?
Like it.
I do too.
I'll make a motion, we authorize the mayor to sign letter of support for Harvest Point Apartments LLC, renovation of existing units.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thanks.
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if we get, I'll be join the member. I'll join the
Chamber.
chamber.
Very good.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not sure if they're a member now, but if not, we'll make
Yeah,
sure we
every
are.
member
So,
helps.
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 2, authorize the mayor to sign the field services agreement and quote with Clean Harbors Environmental Services Incorporated, hazardous and non-hazardous waste disposal of the chemical tank in the Wink property. And Brad, would you like to address that?
Yes, Your Honor. As you know, in the past, we had contacted another company, actually 2 of them, and the second one gave us a quote. And after giving us a quote and us signing the quote and sending it back to them and requesting them to come do the work, they decided that there was a portion of the work that they weren't comfortable with, and that was removing of that 1,200-gallon tank inside the Wink building. So after that, they suggested we contact a couple of people. This is the one that came back that was the most reasonable, and it, even though it's double what the other company wanted to do the work, it's still, I think, fairly reasonable, and they can get to it in a couple of weeks once we get this signed and sent back to them, so we can not disrupt the current path of progress on demolition. So my recommendation to the commission is to sign the task 1 through 3 on the quote, have the authorized mayor to sign that, and we'll get started with cleaning out that last item there of the interior of the building.
Do we want an up to amount, Brad?
It probably wouldn't hurt to have a little extra just in case, because it is a quote and it's based on hours and that type of stuff. So I would recommend maybe going up to say $6,000, give us about $1,000 cushion there just in case there's something additional that they need to do that they didn't anticipate.
So then,
Question? Go ahead.
so then we don't have to cut a hole in the wall to get that tank out. That will be their responsibility.
Part of the process is going to be to basically separate the top from the tank so we can get access to the material. We pumped out all the liquid, if you will. It was more of a slurry type material that we pumped out. Got down to where the pump couldn't pull it anymore, so what's at the bottom is more of a pasty kind of consistency, and that's what's left in there in order to get to that, because there is a manhole in the top, but it's only maybe 16 inches in diameter, and you wouldn't really want to go in there to start with. So the thought process was to remove the top half of the tank, take that off, and then be able to get at it with more normal work tools rather than trying to be inside that confined space. And that was the issue that the other company had gotten into, is they considered it a confined space, and so they weren't going to do that. This company understood that they could take the top off the tank and they could work with it open, and so they said they'd come and do that, and that's part of their quote, is to do a cold removal, is what they called it, and cut the tank in half, cold cutting. So that's what their plan is to do. We originally looked at trying to remove the tank from the inside of the building to help move the demolition along. After further investigation, the bottom of the tank was not of sufficient quality to risk the move, and decided not to do that. The one end is completely rotted out, and that's the end that's up in the air, so there's no spillage occurring. But if it's already rotted out, I don't know how good the rest of the tank is, and the decision was to just do it all in place and not risk spilling it in the process of trying to move it.
What kind of timeline are they looking at?
They thought they could get here in probably about 2 weeks. So it'd be middle of August. And that should coincide fairly well with the proposed bid opening for the demolition. So we should know where we're at before we award the demolition.
And then just to clarify on that, the materials in that they're working with are non-explosive, non-flammable. So that isn't an issue in that we have to be concerned with in that when they do this process.
I make a motion, we authorize the mayor to sign field services agreement and quote Clean Harbors Environmental Services Incorporated, hazardous and non-hazardous waste disposal, basically the Wink property, up to 6,000. Is that what I heard, correct?
Brad's suggestion, yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Saying no announcements, no executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Make a
moved.
motion, we adjourn.
Okay. We have a motion and
Second.
a second. All
Double
those in
motion.
favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.